In the final hours of the 2014 Red Power Roundup, standing around in the midst of the 6 Decades display building in Huron, South Dakota, I was saying my farewells to Case Rep Julianne Ulbrich when she asked me if I knew anyone who restored tractors. My first response was, no, but then as we talked further and the wheels started to turn in my brain, I said, why don't I put together a volunteer crew and restore a tractor at the 2016 Roundup in Racine, Wisconsin? So with the help of a crew of guys from an online discussion forum that we called the Cowboard and other friends from IH collectors all over the country, that's exactly what we proceeded to do.
This footage was taken the evening before the 2016 Red Power Roundup. The goal was to do a complete restoration on an F-12 and do that with a lot of help in about 20 hours. Alright, what you're seeing here is some time-lapse footage. It was taken with a GoPro. So what we're doing is we're compressing a full day's work into about 4 minutes. Alright, what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of zoom in and focus on the work being done on this fuel tank. Alright, I'm going to draw your attention to something that happened here that's kind of interesting. What happens is this man in the yellow shirt walks up and takes a picture of the man in the bibs. And what do you know, as part of this project, a CD got sent to me, and here's the picture that he took right at this moment. The man in the bibs, his name is John Hoshak. Now we're going to hear from him. I went to his house and interviewed him and got his thoughts on the restoration.
John Hoshak? Got that right?
Correct.
Correct pronunciation?
Pronounced correctly, yeah.
Okay. We're talking about the F-12 restoration that was done at Red Power Roundup 2016. So he was involved with that. So you want to tell me a little bit about how you met Howard Raymond, the Nebraska cowman?
I had taken my F-14 to the Red Power Roundup in Sedalia, and Howard approached me down there about asked me if I would help with the restoration, and it sounded like it'd be fun, and I said, sure, let's go, I'll do it. And, that was how we first got together.
You said you did a lot of cleaning, right? The Rusty Belly Brigade, you were part of that?
Yes. A lot of the fellows had worked on the previous restoration, worked together before, and so I just kind of looked around to see where I would fit in, and there was a lot of experience there. A lot of fellows I thought knew a lot more about the F-Series tractors than I did, so I just kind of jumped in and started wire brushing parts. And we wire brushed and wire brushed and wire brushed for a good 2.5 days, I guess, and cleaned, and you know, that was important too. I mean, that needed to be done. And when I first got there, I was working on some small parts, and I looked over in the corner, and there was a guy back there, and if I can equate it to anything, it looked like in the Peanuts cartoon, Pigpen. Guy back there in just a big cloud of dust, and he was just going at it with an angle grinder and a wire brush, and we were all just covered with rust and dirt and dust. And I asked somebody, I said, who's that guy? And he said, well, that's Guy Fay. And I was just blown away because I had this picture in my mind of, you know, this world famous author that was, how did you put it?
The Obi-Wan Kenobi of international harvest.
Yeah, he was the man that knew all and had all the answers, had written numerous books on tractors, and I envisioned this white-haired older gentleman that you would, kind of the kind of guy that you would climb the mountain to seek the answer of spiritual enlightenment or something, you know, that, and here's this guy in a t-shirt and blue jeans just grinding away and cleaning up rust on the hood of an old red tractor, and that really impressed me. And I thought to myself, you know, hey, here's this guy that to me is famous, you know, and he's down here doing what I'm doing, you know, and that was the attitude with everybody that was there. I didn't see any indication of any ego or anything like that. Everybody just did what needed to be done, and nobody really even had to be told. They just kind of looked around and saw things and said, "Oh, hey, I'll go work on that," you know. And it was a great experience, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, we got a few more thoughts from the Nebraska Cowman we're going to hear now.
We did a similar restoration the last time that the Red Power Roundup was in Wisconsin. That was at Madison in 2009 when we restored a 1937 F-20 for the benefit of the IH archives at the Wisconsin Historical Society. I thought it would be a nice homecoming for the guys to do it again in 2016. Case IH had this 1936 F-12 in storage and warehouse in Racine. I don't know how long it had been there, but quite a while, as it was in pretty rough shape. It would be a challenge to completely rebuild in 3 days. The F-12 is a good fit, as they are simple to work on and easy to find replacements for. The tractor was delivered to my farm in southwest Nebraska in the early spring of 2015 so I could assess its needs and to display it at the 2015 Red Power Roundup in Sedalia, Missouri, and to drum up support and build a crew. I signed up over 40 names at that show, and I knew from that time forward we were well on our way. We had huge support from many talented guys and gals that made it possible to pull off the impossible. Arriving at the showgrounds in Racine, we were greeted by a large empty cattle barn, cow stalls and all. No tools. The volunteers brought all their own, each contributing something so that nothing was lacking. I'm an early riser, but every morning when I arrived at the show site, I found the building open and my crew already at work. Those guys were really passionate about getting the restoration done. Timing had to be perfectly orchestrated. The wheels had to be painted Thursday night so we could mount the front tire on Friday. The tractor was painted after the show closed on Friday night at the home of Wisconsin member Mike Mudek, and his wonderful wife fixed us supper that night on picnic tables in their driveway long after dark. The finished tractor was loaded at daylight Saturday morning for its trip back to the showgrounds and its final detailing. The restoration area was a veritable beehive of activity. Everybody was doing something, and it took very little guidance from the crew chief. It was amazing how well everyone worked together. The opportunity to work together toward a common goal, restoring this rustic F-12 for Case IH as part of our heritage, was a once-in-a-lifetime experience we will not soon forget, and the friendships we made will last the rest of our lives. Parts were donated from a wide segment of dedicated collectors as well as popular parts vendors. Without this large array of spare parts, the project would have never gone as smoothly as it did.
All right, I'm going to just take a moment here and give a big shout out and thanks to everyone who helped on this project. No matter, there's no such thing as a small task on a project like this. So from Howard and everyone, just a big thanks to everyone who gave of their time to complete this project. All right, everyone, we're coming up to the point to where they finally got the F-12 started. We're going to cut to some video that I have when it first fired off. So we'll see that there in just a second. Okay, we're talking to Tom Kelly here from what, Pennsylvania? What's the town?
Western Pennsylvania. We're 35 miles northeast of Pittsburgh, called Sarver.
Sarver, Pennsylvania. Okay, he helped on the F-12 restoration at Union Grove. So he's got just a little story he's going to tell us about that. So let me hear your story.
We started, I got contacted probably a year before the roundup. Talked to Howard Raymond between on the computer, phone conversations about really interested in doing it. I seen it done in the last time, must have been in '09 in Wisconsin. They did the F-20 restoration. And I really wanted involved. I've done a couple of F-12s, 14 since then.
Did Howard head that up too?
Yes, Howard had done that deal there, and he actually purchased that F-20 at the auction. And he owns that tractor. He actually brought it to the roundup to show them what they did with the in the 2009 roundup in Wisconsin. So, but it was a really neat event, and we watched it progress through the times. And he got a lot better at getting it set up, having a few things that we knew we maybe had trouble with. So he had some extra stuff and parts and spares. So make sure we hit our deadline, and they were really pushed the last one, I guess, with their paint and everything. But they, so we started at one morning. I'm a pretty early riser, so I was up about 6 o'clock, and I got over there and opened the doors up and started unbolting some things. And out within a few hours, we had the motor sitting out on the ground and on a stand. I think it must have been 3 or 4 o'clock that day before we started to get ready to send it to paint. We got her started. Took a while cranking on it. I did a bunch of cranking for a while, but it finally lit. And didn't run too bad. A little tuning to do. We figured, well, we better get it off the paint. They wanted to leave there at 5 o'clock the second day to get the paint. So the next day when we got back, the third day, we brought it in and decaled it. And we're in it. So it was a good time. Met really good guys. A fellow from down Louisiana, Buddy Banks. I met him. Known him from different Red Fire shows. Talked to him a few times. But we got to spend quite a few hours there. And Brian Schmidt from Iowa. And Dan and Adam Robinson from Iowa. Chapter 5. It was friends for life, it seems like. I met there every show I ever go to. I always meet somebody new. And John Holton, we met him. I guess you interviewed him already. So he's, but it's really, really good guys. And got to be talking to friends. Kurt Greeney's another one. He's really, really good magneto work. And we had about 2.5 days. By 1 o'clock, we presented the tractor at 1 o'clock on Saturday. And I drove it down across the lot down to where Howard Raymond came up with a really nice idea with a key. He actually took a cardboard cutout, white key, and we all signed it. And everybody that worked on the tractor, we presented it to Case IH, so they can hang it in their museum down there where that tractor's going to go, down to the Case IH Museum in Burr Ridge, their research facility, and they also have the museum inside. So it's going to be in there. It's going to be really nice. I didn't do it. I did it for the fun of it. But it's all the guys. It's just the guys. We had so much fun with them guys.
That's what this club is all about, people.
That's all it is about. I meet new people every time I met you this show, and the way we met you here, this has been awesome. I mean, and that's why I do it. Every we go, I had health issues years ago, and we got that's all solved and back to 100% again. So we go all the time to these shows, and we try to make them all if we can. It's a lot of fun. Really, really enjoy ourselves.
All right, well, Tom, I thank you for your story.
No, appreciate it very much. Thank you.
We'll see you all on YouTube.
Okay.
I want to take a moment to echo the sentiment of John and Tom and Howard and all the other people who I worked with and talked to concerning the restoration project. It has been my honor and privilege to be a small part of it. I also want to say how grateful I am for the International Harvester Collectors Club. As was mentioned, a club is people. We have to remember that we are about people with IH tractors, not about IH tractors.